Uh, Last year, you had a lot of time to prepare for these guys. Is some of that preparation coming into play this game week that you can fall back on?
You talking about Clemson, Rich?
Yeah, yeah. Those are the guys you're playing this weekend, Coach.
Yeah, I was gonna start doing that once we finished everything else. Rich, we just literally I just had a team meeting. Now we're meeting on defense and special teams and offense, and then we're gonna go out and practice and fix some stuff and do our normal routine, and then I'll spend the night getting ready on Clemson. Yeah, I spent a lot of time with them. I spent a lot of time game planning against them last year. Obviously, that didn't work out too well, but I'll look through my notes and then I'll continue to watch them, and we'll try to put together the best plan we can. But I definitely have all my notes, and I probably watched that game too many times and probably had nightmares about it too many times. But here it is. So we'll get ready and prepare the best that we can.
Just a quick follow on that. I mean, Tenaway and Trevor Lawrence are problems among themselves. What is it like when you put two guys that dynamic in the same backfield?
Yeah, it's how you get the number one team in the country, and it's how you win a national championship. And you surround them with a great O-line and really good receivers and a good defense. I said this last year, Rich, truthfully, just thinking back, I didn't know much about ETN before we played them. And I can't believe he's not talked about even more than he is, because he might be the best player in college football, or he's definitely one of them. And I think he's underrated. I thought that when I watched the tape. I haven't really watched their offense again this year, Rich, but I'll start to do that tonight, and I'm sure I'm going to see the same thing.
We'll go to Julian.
What's going on, Coach?
Hey, Julian.
I'm always curious, just because we never get to know, but when you started looking back and seeing how guys graded out, you know what I mean? Not necessarily who graded out the best and worst, but who were some of the guys that you looked at yesterday and were like, oh, man, he had a good one.
Yeah. That's kind of what we just covered. I don't have my sheets on me here. Oh, I do have my sheets on me here. Just on defense, Max and McDuffie graded out phenomenal. They played their two best games of the year, which was awesome to see. Deion Jones, really great to get him back and healthy. He graded out really high. Mike Palmer, obviously, with the forced fumble and the touchdown, graded out highly. And then Luke played his best game interior on the defensive line. He graded out really highly there as well. Offensively, our O-line, all of them graded out really high. The one thing I failed to mention last night is we didn't give up a sack either. I mean, we rushed the ball for 264 yards and allowed 0 sacks at pass protection. You want to talk about a step in the right direction. Jelani Galloway, Zay Flowers, David Bailey, Hunter Long, Spencer, Phil, and CJ, those guys graded out the highest for us. So what I do, Julian, is on and then special teams, Travis, Boom, Grant, those guys graded out phenomenal. I mean, the thing you forget about Boom is Boom accounted for 12 points yesterday. I mean, let's not forget about him. It'd be nice to get an article. I mean, 12 points in a game is pretty impressive. So 2 for 2 on field goals, 41-yarders, 6 for 6 on extra points, 12 points. It's a nice day for a kicker. And then look what Grant did. Grant pinned him inside again. We intercepted him on the first play. We scored. I mean, so overall, really, really good job by those guys. But what we do is when I get together Sunday morning, I watch the tape with the offense, the defense, and the special teams. And then after that, I just kind of create a tape that tells a story of what we did well, what we need to do better in all three phases, whether we win or lose. And I show it to them, try to teach them in front of the team and show the team, why we won and what we could have done better to, win more or win if we didn't win. So, and then I announced those guys who graded out really high and dap them up and announce players of the game. And then the coaches are all meeting right now. And then we move on and go have a practice.
Just quickly, like for an offensive line, right? Like if it was easy to measure, like, how they did if they were running the ball, because they saw all the rushing yards they stacked up. And like you said, they didn't allow a sack, but is there a way that you can kind of like tangibly or maybe intangibly, like say like, you guys did a great job and they know it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Coach Applebaum has a great sheet and it lists the missed assignments. It lists the pluses, the minuses, what you did really well. Just because, again, you're right, Julian, just because you rush for 264 yards and don't give up a sack, you're right. It doesn't mean you played well. But talking to him and listening to him, and there weren't a lot of MAs and there weren't a lot of busts and guys were on the right people. So those guys did grade high. But But yeah, you can't just look at the result and assume that everybody played well. Yesterday was a great combination of the result was good and they really played well and they graded out highly. Make sense?
We'll go to Kevin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
Good, thanks. Yesterday, both teams ran 65 plays apiece, but you guys held the ball for over about 34 minutes. To me, at least, it felt like you guys were in control for the majority of the game. Did it feel that way to you too, or no?
It did early, right? Up 24-0 until we had the penalty and they kind of shifted momentum a little bit. And then I believe it was 24-7. Yeah, I think, Kevin, what you saw was in the second half, we came out and we took the play clock down to 5 every single snap. And that was on purpose. When you're up by that much, you just want to eliminate possessions. Plus, I like the way we were moving the ball. You know, I'm still a defensive guy, so all I think about is possessions. And right now we're up by so-and-so. How many possessions are they going to need to actually come back in this game while still being aggressive? Well, I think it'd be foolish to snap the ball at 25 seconds on the clock, on the shot clock, right? So let's be aggressive, but let's take the clock down and eliminate their opportunity to have the ball multiple times and score on us. So that was done on purpose, and Phil and the offense did a great job of getting that under control.
We'll go to Andy.
It seemed like Phil and Zay were much more involved in the run game. Was that partially a byproduct of Pat being out? And how is Pat doing in his recovery?
No, those are things, Andy, we've been working on. And the quarterback run game that you see that's involved with him reading people and different defenders, and that takes time. It's not like, okay, you know, here it is, read the end, pull it. No, it takes a lot of time and a lot of work. And I think we've seen it start to click in practice. The jet sweeps to Zay were definitely something we felt we had a schematic advantage over them, and it showed. But the quarterback run game is definitely something that we've been working on, and it's just taken us a little bit of time to feel good about it. But you can see Phil can run the ball. I mean, there's no hiding it now. I mean, the kid can run, and he's hard to tackle. Talked to the trainers a little bit about Pat today. I know he had an MRI over the weekend, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if he'll be able to practice or not this week. I'm hopeful that he will, but I'm not sure. So I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. But hopefully I'll find out more today on the results. And then when we talk Tuesday, I should know if he's going to practice or not.
We'll go next to AJ.
In a game that you played really well, it's sometimes difficult to find room for improvement. You might think, you look at the tape, but what did you find that you said, oh man, we got to fix that in order to play better against Clemson? What were some of the things that you noticed on tape, Coach Hafley?
Yeah. I mean, I showed the guys today, truthfully, I showed them why 28 points were scored against us and how we could eliminate it. 3rd and 10 on the -20, we jump off sides, we stop them. If we don't jump offside there, they don't score. They go down and score. 4th and 21, cross the 50, we rough the passer. It's an incomplete. It's an interception. They score. Okay, that's 14 points. 4th down, going in at the end of the game, we get a defensive pass interference, 4th down penalty. So you're talking about a 3rd down penalty, 2 4th down penalties, accumulate for 21 points. The PI, you got to be aggressive and let guys play football, but on 3rd and 4th down, you cannot have penalties. You can't do it. So we got to coach better and we got to play better. And then if you want to talk even about what would have accounted for the 27th or 27 points because they missed the PAT, the celebration at the end that we kick off the ball from like the 20-yard line, and then followed by that targeting call on DeBerry. So there's a lot of little things to look at. Again, I don't look at whether we win or lose. I'm the same way in the meeting. I'm going to show them what we did really well, and I'm going to show them how we have to get better. And then it's the same thing for offense, right? Like Phil said it last night in his press conference. I mean, we have a screen pass call backed up that if we catch it, guys, it's probably going to go for 80 yards. And Phil just got rushed. The one you saw, he threw the ball on the ground a little bit. I mean, we clean that up. We make the right block. We're getting an 80. I promise you there's nobody there. He's gone. So you show the offense the same things. I thought on special teams, we definitely got blocked in the back on the one that they returned for a touchdown, but I thought our guys did a good job. Overall, truthfully, I thought Coach Tem, Coach Signetti, and Coach Turn, I thought we coached really well in that game. And you got to give those three, just the whole staff. I mean, take me out of the picture. Those guys did a great job to get our team ready for this game.
Go next to Rich.
Hi, Coach. I'm kind of assuming you haven't met the Boosters or the Gridiron Club because of COVID, but are you aware of the O'Rourke McFadden Trophy? And do you find it kind of cool that this Clemson BC has a historical element to it as well?
I have met some of them, Rich. I need to find out more about it. So that's probably something I'll talk about a bunch this week with whoever fills me in. But with COVID, Rich, you're right. I haven't been able to be around many people and meet many people, which, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to.
No, I don't apologize for that. I just, like I just said, there's a historical element to this game that goes back to the 1940s, and it's pretty interesting. I just thought you might have been made aware of it. That's all.
Rich, I probably, as soon as we finish up wrapping up this game, it will probably be sitting on my desk and probably something that I go over.
Okay.
We can talk about it on Tuesday. You're jumping the gun on Clemson today, Rich. You're all fired up, man.
Hey, it's Clemson.
We're gonna take two more, first with Andy and then with Julian.
Jeff, you mentioned Boom with 12 points, covering two different kinds of onside kicks, getting that fake punt coverage too. Special teams played a big role on Saturday. It's probably going to play a big role this coming Saturday too, because when you play a team like Clemson, you got to be sound in all three phases. Is that something you're emphasizing during this week too?
I haven't gotten to this week yet, but I will definitely emphasize it. It's 100% complementary football, which is like if you look at yesterday's game, right? Defensively, we take the ball away 3 times and we score off all 3. Special teams, we pin them back. Special teams, we stop the 2 fakes. Offensively, we drive the ball. We score when we take the ball away. That's complementary football. That's how you win football games. And we haven't done that yet this year. That's what it's going to take to continue to win for us.
And we'll wrap things up with Julian.
Julian, you're going to ask me about Clemson already too, man?
I'm only smiling because you're like, dude, it is Sunday. Like,
I mean, you guys never ask about Rich, no one's ever asked me about an opponent on a Sunday. And now all of a sudden we're playing the number 1 team in the country and everybody wants to talk about them already. See what you started, Rich?
Yeah.
No, let me.
If Dan were here, we'd have to find Dan for all this.
Listen, I got there's 2 I want to break them up real quick. One, just because it was mentioned, I thought, do you have to host like Zoom parties or like those events to get with the boosters or something like that? Like, how does that work now? Because do you have to be creative about like how you?
I've done some Zooms, yeah, like Zoom cocktail hours. It's kind of yeah. Maybe after the season we'll all get together for a Zoom cocktail party.
Fair enough. But
that's what
my
they
next
are.
question was,
seriously. It's how you get to know people right now, right?
Yeah, like the happy hour type joints. Yeah. It is what it is. But I wanted to know. So as a coach, right? You come in and you look at your roster, evaluate what you got, and you say, "Hey, man, like, all right, this is what we can do." Right. So when you guys do that at the beginning of the season, you're sitting down with like Frank, right? How do you go from saying like, "All right, this is the talent we have, this is the roster we have, and this is the idea I think we can take. This is where I think we can take the offense, right? Based on from what it was last year, right? To like what it is this year. It's a turn, right? What made you look at that and say like, this is what we can do with it,
You mean schematically with what Frank's running?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, I hired Frank. One, I think he's a great coach, great quarterback coach, and a great leader. But 2, I've coached against him, so I knew what his system was. And what we talked about when he came in is I love his pass game. Love it. I think it's an NFL pass game. The play action passes are very hard to defend. The drop back's very hard to defend. It's a pretty complex system. And, then we talked about mixing in some of the college run game, which you're starting to see, and some of the RPOs, which you're starting to see. And then you see some of the NFL under center run game because that sets up the play action pass game. So once we got a quarterback and we saw who we had at quarterback, we felt comfortable with it. We knew the O-line had some experience. But at the same time, Julian, we wanted to build it the right way, right? So we knew there'd be some growing pains, and there will continue to be some growing pains, but it's about, doing what we believe is right and establishing our identity and running what we believe in. And that's really what we've done. And I do think you'll continue to see us get better. I think there'll be bumps in the road, but this is who we're going to be. And the other thing, you'll see more come out. Same with defense, right? Every week you see something a little bit different just because we haven't had the time yet to really get good at a lot of different things. So that's really how we sat down and we talked. But I kind of knew what I wanted is a defensive coach on offense, and he was the guy who did it the best, in my opinion.